Would you all like to see this happen like once every quarter or maybe once every 6 months? Okay, so that's a dry clap hand. Okay, there we go. So that's something that we are going to talk about and work on. But, you know, we need to start fellowshipping together. We need to begin to talk together. You know, let's reason together. You know, instead of, you know, let's sit down and reason. Let's talk about it. So we're going to open this door up again right now to ask questions. You all have questions, and I got my little notes right here. Questions from the audience and answers. Yes, ma'am.
I don't know about everybody else, but in our area, people have been taking their own personal trash and sitting it right there, you know, out of their house.
You already have one.
Yeah, we already have a trash can, and I guess they figure since the trash can is there, somebody's gonna pick that trash up. So they take the trash out of their home and put it in the black bag by the trash can. So then it's up to one of us as homeowners to get those trash bags and put them in our cans. So what can we do?
I do believe after November 5th, that will stop.
Okay, all right.
And I'm going to say why.
Okay.
Because, and that's why I said this is not a political, and I'm not trying to go there. But I'm going to go there.
Okay.
When we put the trash cans out, we had individuals going on politically trying to say what the disadvantage was for the trash cans, and they were too small. However, since it is a disadvantage, you have 2 other districts that have purchased trash cans. District 3 and District 4. Okay? So this was a disadvantage, but they purchased some as well. So after November 5th, you won't see that. It's just to make me look bad, but I'm all good. I'm still standing. Okay, next question.
I got one.
Okay, wait a minute, hold on, right here. Who was first? Her?
Yeah.
Councilwoman Jackson, first I have 2 questions. The first question is, how long have you been working in District 5? And the second question, I'm really puzzled by, and I think most everybody is. Some time ago, there was some type of altercation between you and one of your colleagues that said something about you tasing. And we never got the full story or the understanding about what happened. Can you please explain that to us?
Google. Okay, I'm going to answer. No, they ain't got to Google out. You know, girl, I'm real. Most of you probably, I don't know if you look at the AJC or whatever, but you do know Paul Howard did send out a letter saying that there was no criminal activity. As we stand right now, we're waiting on the city to give us the answer as if they're going to do a retraction. And we'll know by this coming Friday what the status of that is. So if there's no retraction, then I'll move forward in what I need to do. So hopefully that answered your question. Okay. Next statement, you asked about the things that I have done in the community. Well, I've been working in the community, let me get an old brochure, y'all, since 1994.
All right now.
I established a 13-county-wide multi-transportation system in Georgia Mountains Community Service Board in North Georgia for the mentally disabled population. 1999, I was a community leader getting MARTA transportation service to South Fulton residences during the repairing of the old Morning Creek Tributary Bridge, advocating for MARTA transportation to Flat Shoals and other South Fulton communities. If you remember, the bus didn't used to go to Union City. The bus didn't even go up and down Flat Shoals Road. I was fighting back in that day. trying to get us transportation. Some people didn't like it, but I was a mother, single, with no car. So I had to walk from Flat Shoals all the way to Melanie Drive. So I started from that point saying, I need transportation to get my children back and forth. So that's how it started with me, and it was just an ongoing situation. Then I adopted a child in 1992, 91, 92, and I had difficulties with defects. So that got me involved with the governors and what have you, defects, that situation, because they removed the child from my home once I believed or thought that I could not care for him in the way he needed to be cared for. Financially, as far as the medical needs that he had. DFAC snatched that child out of my home within 1 week. And he had been with us for about 4 years. Wow. So that was devastating to him. So from that point, the lady told me at a meeting, I said, can I do a closure with him when they took him? Because I found out they had taken him from my home and put him in a shelter. So that I rolled out of my bed when the young lady told me that, and I was in the governor's office. And I started fighting from that day on. And that was the point with me, Gonzella James, those types. I went to folks, knocking on doors. What can I do for this child? But I was told that I would never see him again. I left that office, and I went back to the governor's office, and I said, I will not be moved until something is done today. By the time I got home, they asked me what time did I want to pick him up for Thanksgiving. So I've been fighting a long time. And in 1999, I opened up the first adult day health program in the Union City area. In this area, they had a senior program at the Bowden Center, but they did not have an adult day health facility. I was the first one in the South Fulton County area to open up an adult day health facility. And from there, 2005, 2001, local advisory council, I was the first when they started that. I was the first one on the Banneker board. I also, some of individuals here today, we helped to get Banneker the way it is today. We had trailers outside of that school. We met in the summer to get rid of some principals. We worked hard on Banneker, and now Banneker is in the city of Union City. That's why I say it's a slap in my face. How are you going to say we fought to get Banneker the way it is and get the things that we have? Then you turn around and take it and put it in another city that doesn't even really support it. But they support it to go and get, in other words, this is our school, okay? Those type of things. But we fought hard in that Fairwood, that Melanie Manor area to get that school to where it is today. But we lost our school. But keep holding and keep the faith. So we working on it. Also, the current leadership, as far as the neighborhood, that's the school. I'm trying to go back, but basically I've been working since 1994 in our area, okay?
I have three. I have three questions. Not three questions, but three things. For the past 2 years, what are the three most important things you've learned?
That I've learned?
That you've learned for the past 2 years.
As being a councilman?
Exactly.
Watch my back, number one. And we say snakes, there are some live ones. And I call them what I see them. What else? You just got to stand up for what you believe. If you fall for anything, you know what I'm saying? You stand for nothing. So you got to stand for something. And that's what I have tried to do. I've tried to take a stand for our community, and it has hit me hard. But you know what? If I didn't have God on my side.
That's right. That's the key.
And that's the only one I need. Like I said, I have looked around, looked left and right, and didn't have nobody. But the bottom line,
Yes, ma'am.
He let me know I got you.
Yes.
And every trial and tribulation that I have gone through,
God got it.
He took care of it.
Yeah.
It's just like it worked out. Everybody was looking at me like I was crazy. Ooh this, ooh this. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then they come back and say, Miss Rosie, they found out nothing, huh? I'm like, yeah, you're right. I said, okay. But, and they keep trying little things, not just with me, but just with people.
Yes.
And we just need to realize as a city that we're working with human beings. You know, and I know people say I'm cruel, I'm this evil woman, but I document everything. So if I do something, believe you me, I got documentation to back it up. So if anybody, like they said, you let this one go, you let that one go, I said, I got documentation. So show me what you're talking about. So that's all. And that's where it goes. And I love everybody. I try to treat everybody right. But I have been in business since 1999. And in business, I've learned one thing. If you don't document, then you got a problem. And then when I used to tell people, well, you can go and get your unemployment. When that unemployment bill started coming, $2,000 and $3,000, I said, oh, no. That taught me well. A business owner being a business owner, it taught me how to work in a business capacity because the money came out of my pocket. So I can understand what it is, okay? And I have had employees. So I know. Yes.
Miss Rosie,
Yes, ma'am.
I've heard several times about a senior citizen facility that's going to be put in the area.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you elaborate on that?
I can.
You know, we started wanting the Meadows, and I think that was on television. You know, we were talking about getting the Meadows. And I am not of the political sorority. So that was kind of voted down. People in the commissioner's office was told not to approve this, as well as on down the school board chain, I assume, because every hand went up to vote it down. But the main thing was what we're trying to do, we were trying to set up something for our young people and places for children to go. That Title I school, those children, some of them don't even have a place to go. They're staying in hotels. So my thoughts, and hopefully the thoughts of others in our community, and there were a lot that was on board with me, we were looking at the fact of those children leaving that from point A, going to the, Meadows, or not the Meadows, but the multi-purpose facility, after school, eating their dinner, having a place to go. On the weekends, they would be able to take a book bag home where they could be able to feed themselves on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, come back, bring the book bag back on Monday. But that was voted down, so let me get to this part of what you're asking. We approved the URA. See, I'm telling you how good God is. That Thursday is when we were having our meeting, or that Wednesday, we had a special meeting, and we approved the URA, meaning we could buy land, we can buy anything like to build like municipal facilities, okay, any facility. And I understand some people were told at another meeting that you could not build a recreational or multi-purpose facility with that type of money. Yes, you can. So we're gonna purchase land. It's already been approved in our budget for our URA. We're gonna purchase land on Old Bill Cook Road, hoping we're gonna make a left. And that land is there. We have gotten commitments supposedly from commissioners. I've had some to stand up and say what he's going to do, and I had another one say what he's going to do, but I had one to definitely say they were going to invest in District 5 for the multi-purpose facility. So my thing is this, I'm trying not to go there. Whether you see me or not next year, the money is there, and that land is going to be purchased. So now you do what you need to do, and I'm going to do what I need to do, because I'm not going away. I've been here too long. I'm not buying a house nowhere, okay? I might try to build on my home, but I'm not going anywhere. So bottom line, we will have land to do what we have, a multi-purpose facility. We will have an aquatic swimming pool in that building, and I promise you that.
In a few years, a lot of us will probably either downsize, or we might, we'll probably downsize. So are there any plans in the future, within the next 3 to 5 years, that we'll start looking at something for a retirement community for retirees. Something very nice in the 5th district, 6th district, or somewhere in this area. So we can, you know, I may want to stop going up and down the steps. And so I think I'll get me a 2-bedroom home somewhere where we got people like this. They'll be my neighbors, and we'll have to worry about folks doing things that they shouldn't be doing in the neighborhood.
We actually did a developmental tour with a developer out of California, and he looked at several properties for senior housing. They're trying to purchase the land across from the Puerto Dollar, you know, that parkland that's across the street. They're trying to purchase that land from the city. And what they want to do is do a mini Atlantic Station with, they have a commitment from the Regency. So I don't see it, I can't talk about it, I'm just saying what, you know, the talk is, so nothing is in black and white as we speak. But they also, when we were riding, because my conversation is seniors, okay? I have been, God allowed me to be a part of taking care of my mom when she left, as well as Jeremy. And that's what I say, our building now is called Jeremy's Place, and that's for the adult day health with developing disabled as well as seniors. So I concentrate and I horn in on that senior programming because I know how important it is. I know how people have to work and worry about mom and dad, okay, during the day. We need some type of facility, but this developer, he was more than interested. We rode a property, I will not call the name. We're just trying to find out what we need to do to get that property, to redevelop that land. And I have talked to a couple of people there that were against what I was saying about a year and a half ago. But I have talked to one of them. He came up to me and he said, I really want to work with you. So I was really shocked. I said, are you sure? I said, this is the same person. You know who you're talking to? He said, yes, ma'am, I do. He said, we need to work something out. So I think right now these people are ready. They know something has got to give. So I think they're ready, and you know, if I say where it is now, it's just too much, but I'm gonna leave that alone. But that is what we're looking for as far as housing for our seniors. You already talked.
But I got to say this because you touched on something. I have to say this because you touched on something that I've been having my mindset on and talking about, and I was like, and you just said it, so I got to comment right quick, Rosie. Rosie just said something that I've been really concentrating on, and that is with our, I know we said we weren't going to bring the election on there. I'm not going to bring it in, but I'm going to say this. You touched something that is important to me, seniors, because it looks like no one has a voice for them. I'm going to say that and I'm going to leave it alone.
I've been on the board for seniors since when did I open my first facility? 1999. So I've been rolling for seniors a very long time.
I've been in and out.
But she said, excuse me, she said 95, but I opened my building up in 1999.
I think this lady here have.
Oh, you got first. Hold on, I'm coming. I held two first. Let me go get my paper.
Okay, I'm listening.
Okay, Rose. One is about the Kroger that, you know, they have locked us down. But I do understand we're having stealing in the Krogers. And then second of all, can we not get a fresh market in this area?
We have one on Roosevelt Highway, and until our economic development and the crime improves, we're not gonna get like a Whole Foods. Is that what you're looking at?
No, I'm talking about like fresh market, like they have in the Camp Town.
Okay, a farmer's market. Okay, you know what?
I'm sorry.
Write your own name down, and I'll get back with you with that. Seriously, because I had not thought about that. I know everybody has like explored the Whole Foods and that type of thing, and it has not, we know they're not coming. But if you'll write your name down, I will get back with you about that one, okay? And let me get to you with Kroger's. I will, myself and Khalid, he has initiated and he asked me would I be a part of the meeting with him on Tuesday. We are meeting with the Kroger, not the owner, but I think the person that's over this district. So we're meeting with them on Tuesday and we can let you guys know what the status is after that. Now Khalid is more after his, newsletter and that kind of stuff than I am, but I will try to get the information out to you as best as I can. Okay?
I'd like to say that one of Emma Darnell's assistants said, anytime Rosie calls this office, you call me. I always want to talk to her, and I think that is very important to know that Emma always wanted to deal with whatever Rosie had because she knew that she was a hard worker. So that is a confirmation that we really need to support Emma's position, and everybody needs to get out here and tell their neighbors they must vote. Yes. They have to vote.
You all, seriously. On last Tuesday, the Bearcat did come up and we finally came to an agreement as far as a lease. My concern with that was as far as grant funding, federal dollars, if that could purchase that, then that's where I was, because right now we cannot afford to purchase a Bearcat. It was, how can I say it? So what? No, I ain't talking about that. I'm trying to make sure I don't say nothing wrong. Bottom line was, it's gonna be leased in July or sometime. They're looking at that, but also we did say look at grant funding and federal dollars, and I think that can come back to the table because I have heard a lot. Now, see, you all get quiet until something happens. I heard from a few people saying we don't need a Bearcat. I had a concern, and that's why I called the attorney before the meeting to find out there's got to be another way. What can we do? And that's when we started looking, and we found out that there are grants, because when they got the vehicles in Fulton County, it was grant and federally funded. So I also asked about the IGA. It was quickly said, because you all already, sometimes people say, well, why didn't somebody know about this, or why didn't somebody talk about it? Well, I try not to say things to other people because they go back and already let the folk know what you're going to say before it gets out. Well, I asked somebody about the IGA, and it had already called and talked to the chief. But it's all good. Like I said, if the city of Atlanta has 2 and Fulton County has 1, if all the residents get together and talk to Fulton County, I can almost guarantee you, because most of them, and you know what I'm saying, most of us and other areas, they live, okay, within the boundaries of a Fulton County commissioner. So you can talk to your commissioner and let them know that the city of South Fulton is a Fulton County, they're Fulton County residents too. And this needs to be up on the ladder. So things can always change. Nothing is etched in stone. We have not signed anything. What we said was, you can lease. But before that time, we can always come back. So if whoever's writing or whoever's taping or whatever, y'all make sure you get it right. And it's going to go on YouTube, so we know it's going to be right. Okay, it can always come back. So, they say I do anything anyway. So, bottom line, it can come back to the table. But we did do a lease. We told he could lease. Okay?
Explain the purpose of it, because I really didn't get clarity.
Well, I will say this now. They possibly do need it, and I'm not going to say a Bearcat, but when they did, the example was given when they went to Old National. And I got to say, I got to take a little bit of weight for that, because I've been getting my nails done in one place for almost 20 years, in that corner. where they were supposedly selling t-shirts. You could see folks running rapid out of there on a continuous basis. It was just off the chain. You know, you sit down and get your nails done, and then you come out to your car, folk, you know, moving just like that. And you know something's going on besides buying a t-shirt and getting t-shirts done. So when they actually went in the back, they, the person had a machine gun. So that's what they're looking at, you know, their protection, you know, their officers going into the line of fire. I can understand that because I love those guys, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, they come up, most of them, you know, the young ones now, they come up and, you know, hug on me and that kind of stuff. And one little boy, his mama said that he could be my boyfriend. I said, okay. He got a wife and about 2 children. But it's all good. What I'm saying, I love them and I want their security, but also, you know, we just have to be, I guess, responsible for the monies that we're spending and at the timing that we're spending it. And right now, we don't have the money for a Bearcat. So that's how I feel. Right here.
Good evening, everyone. I have a question regarding the funding from David Scott. When I initially received the paperwork, the city of South Fulton was not on it. And I did talk to my councilwoman about it. And we have since been added. We have funds for fire and police. I did call David Scott's office to thank him for the funding. However, I asked them what else could we qualify for. He says, whatever you are in need of. So I would like to know, what should we make our priority for the funding for the disbursements from David Scott?
So there's some money on the table.
We will be applying for community development grants. We have a grant writer now. But there's a lot of funding that we're available for now that we've become a city. But if you remember when we came in, all things had already been allocated, okay, and monies, and we were a part of Fulton County. So at this point, we can start applying for different grants and different fundings.
Okay. Thank you.
Who else? She said Blondie? You said blue. Right here.
Yeah, she was one of the first.
Hello? So, Rosie, I have a question. Can you just expound a little bit on this Kroger thing? Because I really don't know everything that's going on with Kroger that's going to be addressed or you have a meeting about.
We're basically just asking them why the caging, and everybody knows why it is. You know, because the people are stealing the blinds. We know that. And I'm not saying the people, but things are missing. Okay, so, and we had a Kroger that was about to be closed on, can you all hear me? Kroger that was about to be closed on Old National, was it last year or year before last? And there was a meeting set, and then there was another, they did do another lease. But we're trying to keep some stable stores in our area. And right now, Kroger just happens to be that. So, I don't know what the conversation, how it's gonna go on Tuesday. But I do know that y'all know people taking these people's stuff.
Report it.
You know, I mean, what can you say? You know, how we do it, we just gotta come up with a way where it does not look like, you're in jail somewhere and you might be doing right, but Johnny over here is doing something else. But it's affecting everybody. So we just got to figure out how to work it out, where it does not look like it. But do you honestly think Mr. Kroger is going to let his store stay there and not make any type of money, and you all steal him blind? So, I mean, seriously, you know, let's talk about it. You know, let's just be real.
Yeah.
You know, I can't polish it up and I can't clean it up. I'm just me. And the bottom line, if you coming in my house stealing, I'm kicking some doors in and I'm doing some stuff too. So that's just how real I can get. So how do you think this man feels when he's looking at his bottom line?
Yeah, I just hope.
They're gonna have the enclosure, or we're not gonna have no Krogers.
That's what I say.
Because they're stealing, and they're still stealing.
Yeah.
Even with that. So, you know, we need to think about that before everybody gets so mad about the enclosure.
I'm not mad about it. I knew what it was for.
I have actually been in the store and saw people putting meat in their pants.
You know, I saw one man take a child to, you know, the hair stuff.
Yeah.
We went in the store and he had the child went to the hair stuff. This might have been like last year. I was in the Kroger in Union City. And I stayed around, mouthing somebody else's business that wasn't mine. But I asked him, I said, now what you gonna do with that? Because I followed him. And I said, now come on, let's go up here. I took him up there and we paid for it. So I told him, I said, you know, you need to go on home. When I looked back, he was back in the store with his whoever, daddy, whoever the person was. And I said to him, do you know that I just paid for something that he had stolen? And he gonna look at the little boy, and then the manager came, you know, because I think they had been watching as well. But he came and he said, ma'am, he said, what are you saying? I said, I'm not saying anything. I said, I'm talking to this man. Because it was not about trying to get this child in trouble, but I'm trying to turn this child around. And this man, he still wasn't doing anything but taking the child back. So as a parent, you know, you have these mamas, these daddies, you see what I'm saying, taking these kids, and I saw him put this child over here where the hair stuff was. So, you know, I guess I don't know what he said, but the only thing I felt he was saying, you need to get it because I'm not going to buy it. But I went and purchased it for him, told him to go on home, going out the store. I look back while I'm shopping, he back in the store with the man. So, you know, you just don't know. And the kids, it's just the way they're being trained, the way they're being brought up. That's another reason. We need something to get these kids off the street. And that's why I'm trying so hard. We need something on this side of town. We need something. Burdette, yes, we're fit to get a little park place. Yes, that's coming there. It's gonna be just added park kaboom. They're gonna add it because they couldn't put it in somebody else's district, so they just threw me a bone. But I ain't got nothing to do with that. I'm talking about District 5, but I ain't got nothing to do with that. But anyway, but what I'm looking at is, you all seen Duncan Park?
Yeah.
I want that water. I want that water park in Burdette. See, that's where they're going down and taking my space that I want at that end, but I want that water park at the end. But they said it's not gonna take the entire space. It's just gonna take a part to put the park up, and then we can do the other. But I want that water park there for the children. We need to have some place for these kids to go. And if idle mind is a devil's workshop. If they have nothing to do, what are they gonna do? And half of them, hopefully something where we can train the parents. You know what I'm saying? If people don't have a job, like I tell you, I've been a single mother. Okay, I was out of a job. You know, so how they say, preaching to the choir, I know what it is, but you don't have to do a lot of these things that you're doing. You know what I'm saying? You gotta want better to do better. So we gotta just show people what they need and how, you know, they can go about getting it done. Okay? Question, Ray.
Councilman, I'd just like to know what, as community, are people doing to inform the people in the community? What happens if you just start stealing from Kroger's, or continue to steal from Kroger's, or continue to steal from the businesses in the area? How are they being informed about what would happen, or what can happen, if they continue to do that?
That is a real good question. We don't have a place per se, but your churches, you know, that's the start, because we saw a lot of people's pictures. And one of the ladies, she's not here, but we saw a lot of pictures on somebody's, what do you call that card? They sent out in the mail. But those ministers, what I want to see is how have they come together to start different programs for these young people in the community. We're talking about the crime, we're talking about what we can do. These churches need to come together to get programs to get these kids off the street. That's number one. You're saying you're a community leader, you're saying you're a church leader, that's what I'm saying. Let's come together to get these kids off. We don't have the facilities right now, but we can start in our churches.
That's right.
I have gone to some, you got some churches, they don't want to be bothered right now.
What? I hear you. Huh?
I'm going to leave that alone.
Don't leave it alone.
But anyway, you know.
Yeah, cause see, you don't want to bring that mic over here, so.
No, I ain't gonna bring the mic to you. I'm gonna bring it back to you. Yeah, you got some.
As far as the issue that we're having with Kroger, part of the problem, I believe, is that it's a crime of opportunity. If they continued to have a regular police officer doing security instead of the security guards, also having one register and the self-checkout open. This is like on a Saturday afternoon. They should have a lot more registers open as opposed to just having everybody check their own stuff out. When people see that there's an opportunity to just walk on out with the stuff instead of checking it out like they're supposed to, they're going to do it.
So is that what they're doing on Old National?
Yeah, that's what's happening on Old National. They have one register open and the self-checkout, and there are tons of people trying to check out, and that is a big issue over there at the Old National Kroger.
I wanted to address, I will, that's a good point, and I will bring that up on Tuesday. Just trying to find out, because I actually met the owner of Kroger's about 2 years ago. He gave me his number and everything, and the only number that I have now is the security's number. He said, if you ever have a problem, he said, you call me. Because he was actually concentrating then on Old National Highway. And I told him, we don't shop down there because people have getting their bags taken, snatched, people have gotten killed, a lot of issues down there. And that's when they kind of put security there. But he needs to do just a bit more. And I think that can be our conversation on this Tuesday. But I'm going to ask again, and hopefully, I don't know if he's going to be there, but hopefully if he's not, then we can reach out to him, because these other folk, your management folk can say one thing, but that gentleman makes that ultimate decision of what's going to happen. And those, we need to come to the table, and we got to come up with a plan. If we want our community to come back, I can't fight this battle by myself. Nobody else can't fight this battle by themselves. You're going to have to get behind your person, and you're going to have to fight. And I mean, when I say fight, I mean fight. It's going to be this way or no way. And you have to demand certain things that you want. I might not be able to say it right, but I get the end result. But, I'm learning. I'm learning how to do a little better, on how to do things. But I'm going to go back to even another issue. When you're trying to keep people working, I think I was asked the question not long ago. Yes, I'm trying to work on myself. There was a issue, but that issue was about me fighting for sanitation workers. They wanted them to have a $5 million insurance policy. And I'm like, no. There was a question asked of me, well, why is this coming back? Because I asked them to bring it back. If I only have to pay $1 million for insurance, why would somebody else have to pay $1 million to transport trash? But that was to take the small people out of business and give it to one big provider. It makes no sense. So we got to stop killing ourselves. You see what I'm saying? When we stop kicking you in the back, when I stop kicking you in the back trying to get ahead, then we can do something. But you kicking each other trying to give it to this other man over here.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Well, see, I'm a small business owner. So you ain't finna kick me, because I'm going to kick back. So that's what I'm saying. So if I'm kicking for me, I'm trying to represent you too. You know, I'm gonna represent that voice that can't speak. I'm representing the ones that can. And that's all I'm asking y'all to do. You all, we have to come together and speak up. And speak out for what we need. You know, if you settle for nothing,
Right.
I'm gonna give you nothing.
That's right.
But if you want something, what you do for it? Honey, Martin Luther King, he was a non-violent person.
That's right.
I'm not violent, but I'm gonna speak up. A closed mouth don't get fed. And I have found out that's how it works on this council seat. If my mouth is closed, District 5 ain't gonna get nothing. And my mouth has been open. And I'm gonna keep it open until they run me out of here. And they ain't gonna run me out, I'm gonna walk out. I'm a lady. What he said on the TV, I'm a lady.
I guess it's South Fulton Neighbor, the little newspaper that comes out on Wednesdays. And I notice it's only in certain places that it's distributed, like the South Annex, you'll find them there. A couple more places you might find them, you'll find them at the library on flash shows. But now, my question, I guess, about the South Fulton Neighbor is, if you read that, you very seldom are going to find something positive about South Fulton. I mean, they never mention the good things that's happening on South Fulton. They talk about Fayette County, they talk about Clayton County, they talk about the surrounding counties, but they very seldom mention that something on Old National happened good, like the parade. This happened, that happened. Of course, Channel 2 is good about showing the fight that happened at Old National Park. You know, that was always on the news. But my question is, if there's a way that we could contact the editor in mass numbers and say, look, it's time that you come out and start seeing what's going on at Old National and talking to the people and our representatives and get some good news so we all can read about it. Because the paper's free. Basically, well, I don't know if it's free, but it's distributed to Fulton County and it's distributed to the library. So I assume it is pretty well free. And you mentioned about how we get the word out to the people that knows what's going on. I'm sure they probably going to have some information about what's going on at Kroger. But I said they're not going to put the good information about what's going on with Banneker High School, or the 5th District, or the 4th District. They're not going to tell you about what is about to happen on Old National. They're just going to talk about the bad things that continue to happen. So we got to just get kind of speak up at those people and start calling and say, hey, it's time to, if you don't want to put good news in it, don't put the paper out. Right. So we don't want it.
If you go on a Saturday night to Camp Creek, the movie theater, or if you go over to the liquor store, or if you go to the grocery store, or anywhere in that area of the marketplace, you will see a whole bunch of kids, youth. And you will see them after curfew. So what are we doing about the children that are out here in the streets that trickle down from some of the apartments and are just hanging out, busting out windows and so forth, and up to other things that they shouldn't be? How is that being enforced as far as there's a curfew for children? There are curfews for preteens, but if you go over there, it's just a hangout, especially at night. And sometimes even during the weekday, they're hanging out. So how is that being enforced?
That's not our jurisdiction.
That's not.
City of Atlanta and East Point. You have City of Atlanta has some of it, East Point has some of it. We pick up that on down.
Well, what do they do here then?
What do they do?
We have the same issue, which she's talking about.
Well, most of our issues have changed.
Okay.
As far as the loitering, because we do have a loitering ordinance. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there has been a big difference. You know, the ordinance was done, I sponsored it in 2019. It's listed now on most of your convenience stores and your liquor stores. It's put out, it's on there now, but there is no loitering around. If you go down the street Old Bill Cook, that's where we had the gang problems and all the fighting and all that kind of stuff. You had several killings within 5-year span. We had 400 incidents and some murders, okay? And that was down at the Sierra and on that Old Bill Cook Godby Place area. You can walk it now. When I came in, we took charge and we went with the police department. At first, it was Major Rogers at first. The store was actually dealing drugs out of the store. They were, bagging up their, reefer or whatever, that's what they call it. But they're bagging up this stuff, right there in the open. You could walk in and they were just doing their business. So, I mean, that's how bold it was. And it was like they had a 10 pump, like if you go to a gas station and you know how crowded it is, the traffic was all out in the street. That's just how bad it was. You can walk it now. And that's what I'm saying. We thank our police department for their due diligence. Major Rogers, and then it came, Chief Meadows came on after the fact. But they took charge of that issue and we worked it out. You can walk that area now. I don't even know if Calvin is, he probably watching the game somewhere. He came in and, he's standing right there. He hit the floor. He was in one of the stores. He was in that store one time when the shooting got, and he had to hit the floor. So I'm saying it was bad, but we now have it where you can walk the street on that end and, come down. But then it comes back as College Park, where the discount mall is. You see what I'm saying? And I have asked them, I said, since you all wanted to take over Sierra, it was just going to come to be the same. And if you saw where there was a unanimous vote of 7, where we said, no, you're not going to, why would you allow us to keep our tax dollars? But you wanted to take over doing the policing, the fire, giving permits and all of these things. But they wanted to actually say we could keep our tax money. What kind of mess was that? So they could do what they wanted, but the entire council said no. They were not going to have that because it was obvious some trickery was going on. But I'm saying all that to say we're pushing the problems that way. In other words, you got to go back to College Park or you got to go back up out of here, but you're getting out of 5. And that much I know. I don't have a good record again for that. But I do have a problem, and then I have another problem because I heard something happen the other night. I still have not gotten it on my phone.
Yeah, about what?
Something happened it was in the housing where I was. I don't know about no apartments. Godby Road, that's College Park. I ain't got nothing to do with what they're doing down there. Okay. In Fairwood, there was a problem. I still have not gotten the write-up yet. Nobody has told me what happened yet.
Yeah.
So I'll deal with that Monday morning. But I'm saying, it's not that I'm trying to be nobody. But I have been elected to be in charge of this area.
Yeah.
So my thing is, then you need to do what you're responsible for doing. Somebody shot up a house, it take you 30 minutes to get over there to see what's going on? And the folks gone?
Yeah.
I don't understand that. But you want to back it.
That's right. Go ahead on.
Who's next? Are we finished? No more questions? Yes, ma'am.
We would like some sidewalks that connect on flat shoulders, like starting from the Mallory all the way up until you get to your gas station, right before the Waffle House in District 5, that little spot right there. In front of like the South Fulton Library. Okay. The sidewalks.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, where they break. You have to, sometimes the tree limbs are over the sidewalk, you have to walk up off the sidewalk into the street to get back on the other part of the sidewalk, but it's not connected in spots.
You're talking about Mallory here where there was somebody's house there.
No, like if you come off of Mallory Road, take a left.
Yeah, and go up.
And go up towards, like you're coming towards Old National.
I need to get with Public Works, if that was not in the funding with the T-Splash with Fulton County when it happened, that's something that we would have to wait on, and I'm sure that's gonna be in the, 2021? or something down the road. But anything that was done, when you all, like say when we came out, when they were talking about the T-Splosh some time ago, when we were talking about the T-Splosh some time ago, you had to actually go out. You remember they had the meetings? You had to go out, because a lot of people saying, well, my street, we didn't get it. Did you go out and ask? That's how Fulton County did it back in the day. You see what I'm saying? You gotta go out and say what you need. Yeah, she's standing behind you, because we hollered, we screamed. You see what I'm saying? You gotta make yourself known for what you want and what you need. Nobody just gonna say, here, baby, take it. You gotta make it known. And we had to. So we're getting streets, but other people saying, well, I'm not getting a street. I'm not getting this. Did you actively work to go out and get it? That's how it was with the county. Now it's the city, and it's possibly gonna be the same thing. We basically know, most of our council, because you have somebody over individual districts, you have a little better hand on what's going on, because you know what your community needs. But now it should be a little different, you know what I'm saying? So when it comes back around, those things will possibly be added in, and more than likely they will. But as it stands right now, we're dealing with Fulton County, and we've got to come up with, was it $2 or $3 million, because they're not willing to do what they said they were going to do as far as the sidewalks.
Right, well, we feel like Old National gets priority, they get sidewalks and things, but our area over here by where we live, Greenwood Place,
Let me
gets
tell you,
left out.
no, but because we didn't say nothing. Well, we did, but we got streets. We got Melanie, you know, we got streets.
We speak up, we speak out. That's why she don't want to give me that mic, but you
No.
I got to say this, Rosie. I ain't gonna ask for that mic.
Who else want? Lord,
half a second. Give me that mic. I want to say this because I want our new police department to be hats off to them. Because when you call them now, they're not like the old police. When you call them now, they own it.
But they need to be a little faster.
They need to be a little faster, but they are a lot better than them other people used to be. Because I am called them, and you know when I call them, I stand out and let the folks see me. I don't stand behind my door. When I call them, they say, "Ma'am, do you want us to knock?" I say, "Uh-huh." Yeah, I want you to see me, because you come in my place, I hope you're ready.
Okay.
Take the mic. Take the mic.
I want to welcome Mark Baker, District 7. He came in to support this Camelot and this Ken Brown. How you doing? I can call your name, but I just
And we need 19.
yeah, we're gonna have beats in the area.
We have only 9 now. 9 beats and we need 19, so that's a whole lot more police.
Yeah.
But the response is better.
Okay, it's much better than it was. We know that. It's much better than it was, but like I said, if somebody's house is getting shot up, I'm just trying to figure out how it takes 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Because my thing is, somebody should have been on this side of town, and it could have been all this stuff going on that it took 30 minutes to get over here to see, and the folks gone.
Of course.
That's
Last night
not
I was coming down on National and there were 7 police and they had people everywhere. So they've been working. I've been looking
I
at
don't
my
understand what
street
you mean.
lights.
They had 7 police and people
Yeah,
everywhere.
7 police. It was 3 over by Walmart, 1 was at Kroger's, and 1 was down the street. And they were all flashing. They had people out the car. I was like,
Okay, well that's fine, but I'm still saying we ought to have some kind of, I don't know, I'm not a police officer.
yeah, me either.
So, but
But
all
they
I'm-
better, but like you said, they keep.
Oh, it's much better. I'm just concerned at that because. Could we have talked about it? Okay, is that enough? We good? All right, y'all.
Okay, I just want to say this. On the night that the house got shot up, I was not home. One of the neighbors called me, and I'm sure that we made 4 or 5 phone calls to the police. I drove back down the street and saw the guys walking down with no shirts on them. I called the police and told them to block off Benchmark and Fairwood Road. So if it took them 30 minutes to get there, I'm sure they had gone inside. And that was the problem. It's when you rush to these calls, it is necessary that you get there in time enough to catch the perpetrators. But we did make 4 or 5 phone calls. Because in our neighborhood, we call each other or we text. We don't care if it's 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Is that all? Anybody else? Okay. I just want to thank you guys again for coming out. Oh, you got a question? Okay. You know what? I told you guys about
We got somebody trying to speak.
I don't have a question, but I would like to commend Rosie for having the insight to pull the community together to find out what the concerns were. Though they were not to be politically inclined, we just thank you for the opportunity. And thank you so much for the setting, and thank you for the dinner.
Good evening again to everyone, and I just want to make a comment to you. For all the things that we're wanting and we're striving so hard for, I'd like to encourage all of you, those of you who I consider friends, we're still neighbors. Let's reach out across Old National to our other neighbors, because in numbers we're strength. If we just reach out, you know people in District 1, 2, 3, and 4, you call them up and say, look, this is what's happening. We need you all to support this issue. And we need to do the same thing on the other side. Because when we come together and go to our elected officials, we go in numbers and strength, and they have to listen to us. Because we are the employers, and they are the employees.
Okay, y'all, I'm gonna get one more, and then I'm gonna let Mark Baker, and then we gotta go. Okay.
You know what? I like that comment about coming together and supporting each other, but then also we talk about communicating with each other. Then you need a platform. For this to be effective, there's power in numbers. There should be a platform like, is it Nextdoor or something that we can go to and say, okay, we're gonna all meet here for this issue, and we're gonna meet here for this issue, so we can kind of cut that communication lapse of everybody not knowing where we're going. Have some kind of platform we can say, okay, this is where we're gonna announce all of our agendas.
We do have Nextdoor, but we also have a
email.
Yes, I have an email, and basically when we're having events. Now this one was a fast one, quick, because we had to get rid of budget money, so I'm like I had to hurry up and do something real quick. So it possibly didn't go out quickly or fast enough, but what I'm trying to do, all I'm just saying is, whatever we do, however we do it, we've got to come together. We have got to come together, you know. And if it's something that I'm doing wrong or something you feel, don't dog me out over here. Call me on the phone and say, let's sit down and talk. I'll listen to anybody. And I hope you listen to me. You might not like what I got to say. I might not like what you got to say. But guess what we're going to do in the end? We're going to walk away, hopefully where we can greet and meet each other. And that's my purpose. That's what I'm going to do. So I don't know what you need. You don't know, you know, I can't read your mind unless you bring it to me, unless you talk to me. So that's what I'm looking for. If we can just come together and make some things happen for District 5, 6, and 7, because whatever we do on 5 is going to affect 7. And then it's going to 6 and 7. And here's 7 right here. I'm going to let him talk to y'all right quick. He came in. Thank you. Hold on.
Hello. I didn't ask you to speak, Ms. Jackson. I'm just here to support this wonderful councilwoman who fights really, really hard for you guys in this district and everybody on Old National. Give a round of applause for Rosie Jackson. She does an excellent job. And regardless of what people say about her delivery, she's on the side of right.
Okay.
And that's why sometimes they call us a block. But a block is really normally a majority. But we'll let that go for now. I just really, since I have a minute just to converse with you guys, I want to share one thing about police. I know Councilwoman Jackson pointed out, she said, I'm not a police, but I am a retired police officer, and I serviced this area for several years. And the beat study that I heard you guys conversing about when I walked in, is going to add at least 2.5 officers to each existing beat. And it wasn't done since 1972. So when Councilwoman Jackson and myself, when we pushed this whole beat study to be done, it was to see all of the development around us to calculate from a theoretical standpoint how many beats there should be and how many more officers should be added to those beats. And I think that the response time is going to change wonderfully when it comes to that beat study being done now, as well as having a whole police headquarters based on Old National, not just a precinct, but the headquarters, meaning the centralized place where everybody comes together on Old National in District 7. Thanks, Councilwoman Jackson, for supporting that initiative. In the Ingalls Plaza, we have just signed the lease. I haven't been saying anything about it until it was actually signed and executed. It will be at the Ingalls building on Old National and 138, the old Ingalls building that became those failed nightclubs. So it will probably assist in cleaning up that plaza ultimately anyway.
In District 7.
And the other thing is, tomorrow night is the Development Authority meeting. We have a Development Authority, and we meet at the only hotel in the city of South Fulton. It's at the Marriott Fairfield Inn, right behind the Chick-fil-A off 74. We really need you guys to come out so you can hear about the great things that's coming to the city of South Fulton. One in particular, I believe, is coming directly to Councilwoman Jackson's district across, I think it's adjacent from World Changers. It's going to be a $300 million project. And this was done with a lot of work trying to convince the Hyatt hotels to move on this side of Old National. And it's against their will, and it's a developer who's doing this project who's typically excluded, I'll say. And I'm proud of that. So he's going to be giving an update on that tomorrow. We meet at 6 o'clock at the Marriott Fairfield Inn, right off Oakley Industrial, behind the Chick-fil-A. If you get off on the Peachtree City exit, it's directly behind the Waffle House. We have our only and our first hotel located right there. Now we have 2 more coming to that same little plaza area, but that's where we'll be tomorrow. And lastly, I just wanted to say, when you think about our city, it's certain things that need to be discussed or understood and inwardly digested when it comes to development, police, and everything else. According to the National League of Cities, yes, we are, because of 90% population African American, the blackest city in America. And sometimes when people hear that, they don't like the way it sounds. But I have news for you. It's very important to understand, too, that just because we're the blackest city in America, it doesn't mean that we're the poor city.
That's right.
The city of South Fulton has a larger median income than the city of Chicago, where I'm originally from. We also have a higher median income than the city of Atlanta that everybody calls, possibly our twin city. So when we're 107 square miles and the city of Atlanta is only 132 square miles, all of these trees, all of this area, and all of these people calling you, asking you to sell your house, is for a reason. So just know that they understand what's going on, and sometimes they understand before we do. So hold on to your property because they see the value. There's somebody sitting with a laptop open, somewhere at a Starbucks in California, looking and noticing what's going on with the city of South Fulton. They're seeing that we added over 60 police officers in one budget year. They're seeing all of this stuff, and while we're complaining and arguing, and you know those conversations of negativity are festering, they're like, yeah, let them go ahead and get fed up and move. And then we're gonna do it just like Atlanta. Because if you notice, the city of Atlanta, just last election, almost had Mary Norwood as the mayor. It wasn't as chocolate as it's been traditionally. So many of us, over 80% of us, leave the city of South Fulton and go to Atlanta to work, but we come back here to live. And so all of that money, y'all got some money in it. And y'all ain't gotta tell us, but we know because that's what it's showing. So just be aware of everything and don't get excited and amplified once you hear the negativity in the city, because there's always something like that festers to get your attention and to deter you from something bigger and better that's going on and is happening in this city. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mark. Again, we're getting ready to go. But that's a part of the block of 4. Well, it's majority because it's a block of 5. It's not a block of 4.